Hey everybody, this is, some of you know me as Jan. Some of you know me as Jack. The majority of the people who will see this probably are the wonderful people that I've met over the years playing Kickseye games. Yeah, it's my official Kickseye hoodie going on right there with my love to my family and my beliefs. Yeah, you're going to see my hands a lot in this video. I apologize. Obviously, I'm not a girly girl. Not a girly girl. So, pardon me if I don't have a French manicure like some of the other videos that you've seen of people who are sick, whether or not you have COVID or not. It's just, let's talk about some general basic things, but I do want to be honest with everybody. If you're sick and you feel like you're having any kind of symptoms at all, write them down, monitor them, share them with your family. If you're alone, share it with someone. If you don't have to go outside, don't. If you don't have to be out and working, for those of you who are working, I thank you, especially the first responders and the frontliners out there, and the people who can't stay home. I appreciate you. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're sitting at a desk and you're taking phone calls and you're helping customers as they come in the door because your business is considered semi-essential, or if you are a first responder and you're on the front lines. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank the staff at my doctor's office today enough, and yesterday for, well, yesterday, my time. It's 11:46 p.m. my time. I'm doing it now on purpose. What I want to talk about now is based on the post that I made on my Facebook page 4 hours ago after I came home from the doctor's office. If you're sick and your symptoms get better, and then you kind of feel like, well, I'm sick again. What the heck is that? And you think it's allergies, or maybe you spent a little bit too much time outside. I'm in upstate New York, so I'm about 4 hours away from New York City, so please don't freak out. I'm what New Yorkers call upstate. If you watch any of the Governor Cuomo's news conferences, downstate is the state of New York, upstate is the entire rest of the state of New York, which is about the size of Texas, by the way. Not quite. I'll give the Texans their due because they are the big old star state. If you're sick, make a note of your symptoms. If they get worse, call your doctor's office. Most doctor's offices have a telemed or a nurse that will call you back so that you can discuss your symptoms with them. And then they can determine whether or not you need to come into the doctor's office for a chest x-ray or to get checked on. Not necessarily go to a hospital. Again, I have healthcare, so again, everybody's situation. I'm saying, speaking from my point of view, everybody's situation is different. So in this case, do what you need to do where you are and take care of yourself. And whether you're showing symptoms or not, stay home. Before the governor issued the 50% reduction in workforce, I was still staying home. Before the governor said 75% of the workforce stay home, I was staying home and indoors. Before the 100%, which of course affected my husband, and he's now working from home. Excuse me. We were staying indoors. Now, we did go out a couple of times to go out and venture out in the yard. When it would get warm, to get sunshine and fresh air. Everybody says, hey, sun will kill some of this stuff. Sun will get rid of some of the germs. Fresh air is good for you. We did. Initially, I thought my cold symptoms were just that, a cold, maybe some allergies kicking up because we had picked up some leaf litter and we had put some garden waste out. And I thought, I'll get better. And I did for a couple days. And then it started coming back with a vengeance. And then I couldn't sleep. And then I was coughing. And then I moved from my bed downstairs to the couch and tried to prop myself up. I was lucky if I got 3 or 4 hours of sleep or if I slept at all. Tried to keep myself busy, not worry about it. Fevers on and off, chills on and off, some aches and pains, but not like colds, aches and pains, not even like the flu. I've had the flu before, not even like that. It wasn't until yesterday and last night, my time, I decided I'm just going to stay in bed, and I did. And I did stay in bed, and I slept until about 10 o'clock in the morning, my time, and still coughing and coughing and coughing and hacking throughout the night using tissues. So I did lots of other things, like I was drinking tea with honey, warm water with honey, all of those things I've been doing for about, I'd say on and off for about 2.5 weeks. I do that anyway when I get like a cough or a tickle or my allergies flare up. I do that anyway. The reason why I'm making this now is I did all of that. I did everything that I have an autoimmune condition as well. So I am part of the vulnerable population. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up is that I didn't ignore my symptoms. I treated them the best that I could, and they just got worse. When they get worse, you need to do what you have to do. So I stayed in bed because I thought that would be good to get some rest. And I read a little bit. I watched the governor's task force, the updates. I watched some of the morning programs with Dr. Fauci. Again, getting more information about my state. Please pray for all of the world. But if you're in the United States, when you see this video, please pray for America. Pray for everyone. I'll pray for you if you pray for me. So in talking to my doctor, actually called my doctor's office, got a nurse, and the nurse went through the symptoms with me. She asked me if I had been exposed to anybody that had COVID-19. And of course, I said, how would I know? Because we have no testing where I am. I'm in a pretty big city in south central part of upstate New York, and we don't have any testing here. The closest testing to me with a doctor's referral is over an hour away, near Cornell University in Ithaca, which I believe is a drive-through facility. But again, I would have to get a doctor's referral to do that. Again, not knocking the doctors. So after getting a hold of a doctor, the doctor called me back about an hour and a half later. We went through my symptoms and pretty much coughing all the way through. It was probably the worst thing I could have done was to stay in bed. I should have gotten up and moved around more, coughing or no coughing, because as I cough, I continually get these pieces of stuff in my hand. Good thing you can't get anything through the camera, right? So I had to go into the doctor's office for a chest x-ray. Basically walk in, I have my own mask with me because again, I have an autoimmune condition. So they're just paper kind of masks, nothing big and heavy duty medical or anything, because of course they were out of masks at my doctor's. Well, they weren't out. They're not at the front counter because people have been stealing them. So you had to ask for one. I didn't want to, get around anybody because I was coughing. So I had a chest x-ray, coughed through the chest x-ray. But my point is I was at the front desk. There were a couple people in the waiting room. I did not touch any surfaces. I grabbed everything with a tissue and threw it in the trash, or with antibacterial wipes that I carry with me everywhere I go, and threw those in the trash. Never touched a pen or a clipboard. Everyone at my doctor's office was wonderful. Even with my mask on, they knew who I was. I got back to my chest x-ray, coughed my way through it. Bless her heart. She had to take a few times because you have to lift up your head, lift up your arms, and take a deep breath. Bottom line is, with all that, now I've got this. I'm not going to show my name on here. This, I know it's going to show backwards, but I've got a inhaler, aerosol. It's albuterol. I have this, which these things are fabulous, which has enabled me to actually be able to do this video. I didn't want to take a narcotic cough medicine at night. It's called benzenate. They look like little vitamin D capsules, if any of you take vitamin D. I'm allergic to so many medications that have red dye in it, and I didn't want to take a narcotic. And I took one of these at 4 o'clock, and then I took another one about an hour ago, and I'm not coughing as much. So part of this that I was feeling and the pain that I was having in my throat was from doing this so much, coughing and coughing and coughing and coughing, to the point where I could not breathe. Got an enormous headache, huge headache, and I still cannot get rid of this headache that I've had. I've had it for about 3 days. It gets a dull roar. I also have this, which is prednisone. So got that one. And because the Z-Packs are red, all the Z-Pack, least at my pharmacy, are red. I'm allergic to red dye, deathly allergic, and have been ever since I was a kid. Anaphylactic allergic. So whatever this is that's going on here, I don't want to die from having a red dye. So thankfully, my pharmacist was able to find the erythromycin tablets in a different strength for me to take that are just plain and white and have no dye. And I have to take a different strength, but it's kind of like a Z pack. I have to take, the 2-3-2-4-3-2-1. The inhaler I'm supposed to do a couple times a day for my shortness of breath, because I am short of breath. And then the prednisone is take 4 tabs for 3 days, take 3 tabs for 3 days, take 2 tabs for 3 days, and then 1 tab for 3 days until the medicine's all gone. Obviously, the zithromycin is, along that lines, but then, I have to take it consistently for 5 days. Drink plenty of water, the whole 9 yards. If this gets worse, yeah, of course I'm going to call my doctor's office and go to the ER. If it doesn't get worse, great. Good, great. I would have liked to have known if I had it, but didn't know there was no testing in my own city, in my own hometown, in the town of Broome County, New York. I was actually shocked, believe it or not, because of all of the nursing homes we have in the area and the hospitals we have in the area, and just the large population that we have in the area, that the closest place that I can go to get tested is an hour away, and I have to have a doctor's referral. So I'm still trying to understand that one. I have an underlying health condition, so that makes me more vulnerable. If these things make me better, great. If they don't make me better, then sure, heck, in your boots in a basket, I'm going to be going to the hospital. I worry because my husband is older than me. He is over 60. And I wonder, well, what if I do have it, and am I going to give it to him? So he has one underlying health condition that concerns me. Now, he was sick when the governor did the 100% shutdown, and I took care of him. He had fever, he had chills, he had a cough. He was on the couch, he was in bed, he was on the couch. It was even difficult for him to use his CPAP machine. And he has sleep apnea because he has a deviated septum in his nose. So instead of having the surgery to repair the deviated septum, he just has a nose cannula CPAP machine, if any of you are familiar with CPAPs. The point of all of that I wanted to say to everyone is, don't ignore your symptoms. I was really frustrated that there was no testing. I see the cases, and if I didn't have it, great. I would really like to know that I didn't have it. But when this comes back around, because the flu comes everywhere, I hear people say, well, there's no cure for COVID-19. There's no therapy, which means treatment. Okay, so there's nothing they can give you to make you better from COVID-19. And I want to educate you on something. The last thing you want to do is be on a ventilator. So when you see people arguing and playing politics about the ventilators, you only have about a 20%, and this is right from the CDC, Dr. Fauci, and all the other people that are on TV. These are the doctors who have been doing this for years. You don't want to get to the ventilator stage. You only have a 20% chance of surviving if you're on a ventilator. That's a sobering thought. So stay home, monitor your symptoms, and if they get bad, call your doctor, ask for a telemed appointment, and hope that you get the medicine that you need. If you don't feel like you're supported by your doctor, then of course, if your symptoms are really, really bad, you don't feel like you can breathe, you have a headache, whatever it is, I'm not a medical doctor, but any of those kinds of things, and you live in an area where you could get tested, even if you don't have healthcare coverage, go. Most hospitals are waiving copays. Most medical insurances now are waiving copays. There are other programs out there. Hospitals will sign you up immediately for Medicaid so that you can get taken care of. Don't let this thing take over your life if you think that that's what it is. If you are, I can't take the flu shot, as I said before, because I'm allergic to no, maybe I didn't say it before. I'm allergic to the inner ingredients. So if I get the flu, I get the flu. I haven't been this sick this kind of sick with this heaviness in my chest and the bronchial stuff and the stuff coming up this way. I've had colds before, sinus infections, ear infections, where it affects the upper head first and then gets down into this area. And then I get the residual. It started here, except for my head. It started here. I did nothing. There's not, sorry, there's nothing wrong with my nose. Taking a deep breath. I'm so sorry. Taking a deep breath just makes me cough even more. And then when I do cough, it's whatever it is and then it gets heavy again. Like I just feel like there's something in there. And then sometimes when it comes up, it's practically just choking. I don't want to scare anybody. I just want you to stay healthy. So even if you think you're healthy, you could still have it and give it to someone else. Now, do I have COVID-19? I don't know. Can't get tested. But whatever it is I do have, I've been home since Valentine's Day. I have not gone out to the store. Jim goes to the store. Other than going outside in my own yard, walking my own dog, I have not come in contact with anyone. I haven't hugged anyone. I haven't shaken hands with anyone. I haven't got face to face with anyone. My neighbors' kids were out riding their bikes, but they were out on the road. I was in my yard. I mean, the only people I've seen are my neighbors from across, and we yell at each other across the street or across the way. How did I get sick? The flu just doesn't magically show up in your house. Did Jim touch something when he was at the grocery store? Maybe. Do we practice vigorous hand washing and clean things off? You better believe it. You see these right here? 44 double Ds? Those are my can dusters. Okay, normally, I don't even just can dust anymore. I hope you guys can get behind that. I don't just can dust anymore. I washed everything down. My vegetables got extra washed and my fruits got extra washed. Everything got put away carefully. Jim dealt with most of it, but still, I got sick. So this isn't just a cold. It's way deep down in my chest. It's not just a chest cold. The doctor said, don't know what you have going on, but you definitely have something going on. But she can't test me for COVID-19. She can't even test me for the flu. It's like I am taking all these medications. She wouldn't give me the medications I want. She's like, definitely I wouldn't have all this medication if there wasn't something going on. I want you all to stay safe, but I want to also remind you of something else. Vigorous hand washing. People are freaking out about there's no antibacterial soap out there. There's nothing to keep myself clean. Antibacterial soap is antibacteria. This is not a bacteria. This is a virus. You would need an antiviral soap. Okay, not antibacteria. Yeah, antibacteria is good. Antibacterial soap is good. Alcohol swabs, all those things, they're all good if you have nothing else to do, nothing else to wash your hands with. But if you're at home, you're playing with your kids, or you go outside, or if you do come in contact with food or whatever from the grocery store, or you're going to pick up or whatever, before you sit down and eat, whether you pray or don't pray, you should pray, but before you sit down to eat, everybody, don't you remember saying, go wash your hands and face before you come to dinner? I grew up with that generation. Don't you remember when your mother would say, those hands don't look clean, go back and scrub them a little bit longer? Do that. And to that point, if you don't have antibacterial soap, this is fine to wash your hands with. Okay, I'll turn around. Y'all know the color. This is fine to wash your hands with. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. I have old-fashioned bars of soap. Shameless plug for the Sea Hag. I have old-fashioned bars of soap that I keep in all my bathrooms. And this is what it looks like when I've used a lot of it. This is a round scrubbing bar. And then this is like a lavender scented from the same place, but I just kind of stuck them together because this is lavender scented. This has a little pumice in it for when I'm gardening. And I use this. And when I get into and I wash my hands, water, soap and water and soap, and I scrub and I get between my fingers and I take my rings off. and I scrub everything. And they say, do the happy birthday song. I do, teach, you don't want to do the happy birthday song because you're, I don't want to do that one. I do, I'm a Star Wars fan. I do In a Galaxy Far, Far Away. And yes, I know that one by heart and I'm not going to repeat it. That's a little bit more than 20 seconds. For your kids, do something, do an ABC song. It's the same 20 seconds, just 20 to 30 seconds and sing, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and scrub and get all that off and then wash it off with water. Okay. And here's one of the reasons why. Okay. I have some things up because viruses are viral. It's not bacteria. When you cough, especially when you sneeze, the tiny droplets will fly everywhere. And they could even get on surfaces and dry out, but they still remain active. Okay, so let's just say you reach out and you touch a steel surface, like a work table or something like that. The virus particles are still there. It's going to stick to your skin and get transferred to your hands. And then if you touch your face, or if you go up to your eyes or your nostrils or your mouth, you're going to get infected. And most people, according to the CDC and some of the other experts out there, like Dr. Fauci and some of the other medical experts that have been speaking for the past several weeks, several months actually, touch their face at least 1 to 2 times every 5 minutes. If you wash the virus off with just water, it's not going to work. Okay, so you have to know what you're doing. You can't just swish, 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 and then it's done. Just a little bit of hot water and that'll kill it. You really need to know that you have to keep that area around you clean if you're coughing or sneezing. Now, as far as your hand washing goes, why does the soap work so well, especially on the coronaviruses? Because it is a virus. And the antibacteria is good, but the virus itself has a lipid in it, which is a fatty cell in it. Okay, soap dissolves the fatty membrane. Again, this kind, which is this kind, shampoo. Read the ingredients on the back of your bottles. Shampoo, baby shampoo, body washes, okay? This one, body washes. Any kind of shampoo, your little samples from, like, if you go to hotels and motels or whatever, any kind of soap probably has that in it anyway. So the soap dissolves the fatty membrane. So again, this is basic biology, okay? The soap dissolves the fatty membrane and the virus falls apart, okay? Or basically it becomes inactive because really viruses aren't alive. So it's like it falls apart like a house of cards. It kind of just like dies. But I mean, it's not alive because they're inactive. I mean, the important thing that you need to know is that what happens is that you can use harsh chemicals to clean them, but you don't necessarily need them to clean them. And that's the part that that's what I want to emphasize. It's really important to remember that the soap has the fat-like substances, and they're called amphiphiles. They're very structurally similar to lipids. The soap molecules compete with the lipids in the virus membrane, and this is more or less how soap removes normal dirt from your skin. It doesn't just loosen the glue between the virus and the skin, but it also the Velcro-like interactions that hold the proteins. Now, you've seen pictures of the coronavirus where it's the ball with the spikes, which is like the flu, but the coronavirus has these little spines on it, which is what gets into your lungs and gets down in there. So you have to understand that soap helps loosen that glue between the virus and your skin, and then also gets rid of that Velcro stuff that's like sticking right on your hands and between your fingers and under your fingernails and on your skin, because that's what holds the proteins. And it binds all that together and it helps get rid of it. And then you wash it off with water. Alcohol-based products, which pretty much include any kind of disinfectant. I'm not going to show a whole bunch of those products here because I don't want to frustrate anybody, but they have mostly alcohol, which is like 60 to 80% ethanol. It kills viruses in a similar fashion, but soap is better because you only need a small amount of soapy water, which when you rub covers your entire hand very easily. You need to literally soak a virus in ethanol for many moments, if not several minutes. And wipes or rubbing gel on the hands doesn't guarantee that you're going to soak every corner of your skin. and your hands effectively enough. And then you go like this, and then you're wiping, and then you rub your eyes, or you're going like this, and you're covering your mouth and you're coughing. How many times do you cover your mouth? Do you grab hand sanitizer every time? Every time? Probably not. How many times do you grab a tissue and then you cough into it, and then you hope that when you squeeze it, that you didn't get, but did you get it on your wrist? Did you get it on your hands? Where else did you get it? So remember that soap is the best, but use the alcohol-based sanitizers and disinfectant when it's not, practical for you. So, and then in that regard, I wanted to talk about this. I'm not specifically going to show this brand, but I want to talk about the foaming antibacterial soaps. People are frustrated because they can't find what they need, and the kids are used to it, or school, or, they're like, oh, I'm frustrated because I can't find what I need. Okay, if you can find something like this, okay, which is a body wash. My husband and I, I'm not a chemistry major, but my dad taught me to dig around and figure out, well, what's the difference? Like when you read a medication, what's the difference between this cold medicine and this cold medicine? The only difference between this very concentrated gel-like kind of body wash, which in order to activate it, it says to put it on a wet, very wet, soapy washcloth or body buffer with a significant amount of water, work to a lather, and scrub and clean vigorously. Okay, so still this needs water, work to a lather, and scrub and clean vigorously. Okay, again, this is like a clean and clear antibacterial body wash. Okay, if you want to, these that are out there on the market that you buy are the same thing. If you look at the ingredients on this and you look at the ingredients on this, which you can't see because it's clear, you look on the ingredients, it's the exact same ingredient. What the difference is, which when this had the cardboard label that came with it, of course it came in a 6-pack, and I've had these for about a year and a half. All I do is take one of these, fill it to here, and then add water. You say, oh, that dilutes it. No, it doesn't dilute the active ingredient. It doesn't. All these are this concentrated with more water. I looked it up to see what the concentrations of water were for this, other than fragrances, and the water was for this and the active ingredient. This just has more water in it than this. So I pulled out my math, and my husband, who's an engineer, we put a little algebra together, and we realized that when I fill this up to here, and then I add water to it, I get what you buy in the store. If you're out and you have something like this, put this in it. If you're out of antibacteria and your kids don't want to use bar soaps, or you feel freaky about using the bar soap because you think there's going to be germs left over, which doesn't, or something left over on it, then use this. Use any other kind of soap that you have. Use baby shampoo, use head shampoo, put it in here. It's the same kind of product. Look at the ingredients on the back of your products, and I guarantee you, except for the fragrances and some of the proprietary ingredients, it's all the same ingredients. If you don't know what the ingredients are, look them up online. Put some in here, add some water, or fill the whole thing up if you have to, but go to here, add some more water, and you'll get your foaming hand wash. And then you'll get that full coverage, and then your hands will be clean. Your kids' hands will be clean. Your hands will be clean. Okay, with all of that, I want to thank everybody who supported me throughout the game, all the wonderful messages I've gotten since I posted that horrible picture of myself before I went to get the chest x-ray today. I want to thank all the guys at Kixeye. I can't thank you enough. You guys really make me feel good and special. And when I told the guys I was going to take a leave for a little while because I was sick, this was yesterday, and I did not know I could not get tested. Did not know what the procedures were going to be until today. Of course, it's 12:13 in the morning, until today, of what we were going to have to do. Stay safe. I also want to just end with something that's a little off the wall, but remember, especially for the people who are watching that are from the United States, I want to reiterate something that one of the governors had said, as we talk about being red states and blue states when it comes to politics. Don't be a red state or a blue state. Be a red, white, and blue state. Be a red, white, and blue person. We are all Americans in this together. Even if I don't have COVID-19, whatever it is, I do have it. I want to give it to anyone else. I'm not worried about, I am a little worried about whether or not I have it or not, but if I get better, then that's fine. I would like to know if I had it so that I know when this comes around again and kicks everybody in the ass next year, because it will. I would like to know that I have the antibodies so that I can maybe not worry about it as much in the fall. If I do have the antibodies, I want to be able to donate blood and plasma if I'm able to, so that the doctors can study my blood and plasma, because I am an A person, a blood type person, which is one of the more vulnerable blood types that Johns Hopkins University has already pulled out as a little bit more vulnerable. Jim is O, which maybe when he was sick, maybe he did have it, maybe he didn't, but he seems that people with the O blood type recover faster from the COVID-19. Did he have it? I don't know. Did he have the flu? Don't know. Don't know what I have now, but this isn't like any kind of flu that I've ever had before, and I have had the flu before. I don't know what's causing all of these symptoms, but try to remember when you watch the news that a lot of that is sensationalized. And whether you like our president or not, pray for our country. Well, one thing that's really frustrating me is there are a lot of things that I don't like, fake information. Do I think we should have acted on this sooner? Absolutely. Do I think we should have heeded the warnings when the World Health Organization knew what was going on in China in November? They knew, actually, they knew in the summertime we weren't prepared for a pandemic. Actually, in 2015, we knew we weren't prepared for a pandemic. And then many people met with the president and his advisors after he was elected president and said, we're not prepared for a pandemic. And the World Health Organization started warning the world in November that there was a possible epidemic in China. And in December of 2019, they said that this epidemic in China had the ability to become a pandemic. It did become a pandemic, meaning worldwide, within the second or third week of January. And I believe in the United States, we had our first case here on January, the first confirmed case that we know of on January 20th. Who knows how long it was here? Look at New York City. Look at New Orleans. Look at Washington State, which was a worker who walked in to infect all those people in Washington State. Look at where all those people were and figure out, wow, that's a lot of people. We need to be better prepared. We need to buy in America. We need companies to come back to America and make the drugs that we don't have in the United States anymore. We don't even make our own penicillin anymore. Do you want to know where our penicillin comes from? It comes from China. If you don't believe me, go look up the congressional hearing on that was held just 3 or 4 weeks ago, with the Democrats and the Republicans asking the health organizations that provide the medications for our country. And you will hear a very sobering statistic that we don't produce our own penicillin. We don't make more than 70% of our antibiotics. We don't even make here in this country. And the chemicals that we need to make a lot of the drugs that we do make here in this country come from China. That's scary. Okay? 2 of the medications that my husband and I take were tainted with the chemicals that came from China. And we're scrambling to try to find alternatives to that medication, but we can't stop taking the medication. And nobody here in America is making what they need to be made. And when it comes to ventilators, like I said earlier, you don't want to be on a ventilator. If you're that sick and you have to be on a ventilator, my goodness gracious, I don't mean if you need a ventilator, of course, but you don't want to be. I'm 56 years old. I'm not in the older population, but I'm in the, because I have an autoimmune condition, I am in that. Hey, I was supposed to have blood work over a month ago. My doctor said, absolutely not. Don't even go near the hospital. I said, well, I can wear a mask. No, she said, don't go and get, don't go and get blood work. Excuse me while I take a drink. Don't go and get blood work. Go in the hospital. I don't want you to get sick. You can worry about your blood numbers later. As long as you're feeling okay, you're fine. Meaning, as long as you're feeling okay, we're going to wait till this stuff passes. Stop picking on one another. Stop picking on whether or not you're Democrat or Republican. Stop asking on social media. Well, you can do whatever you want on social media, but stop stirring the panic and stop wondering, well, why is this place open and this place isn't? Why is this going on and this isn't? Okay, for instance, why is Dick's Sporting Goods open and maybe another store isn't? Okay, well, according to the Center of Disease Control, if you want to go out and do a solitary sport, now that it's becoming warmer in upstate New York, golf is acceptable to go out and do if you would like to. Fishing is still acceptable to go out and do if you'd like to do it. As long as you're not gathering in large groups and you're maintaining social distancing, or say if I wasn't sick, Jim and I wanted to go fishing. So some of those things, people can't just stay in their houses all the time. They want to get outside, or grocery store workers that are out there that are working. I mean, thank you very much for what you're doing, but remember to thank them, but also remember to be cognizant when you're in the store and don't pay attention to the tape that's on the floor. Pay attention to not buttressing up against one another. Pay attention if someone else is reaching for the eggs, stand back 6 feet. Let them get the eggs that they need to get. Someone's getting fruit or vegetables, same thing. Wait for them to finish, and then you go get what you need. And if you feel really freaked out by it, have somebody else get the food for you, somebody in your family to get it for you. And if you need to go out and get it, fine, but try to get like 2 weeks worth of supplies if you can. If you're elderly and you can't get out, you don't drive. And much of the support services that you would use, they can't come to get you because they're closed, because they're shut down, because the state you're lived in, like mine, is non-essential workers have to stay home. Find if your neighbors will go grocery shopping for you. I live on a wonderful street with great people. I have wonderful friends that posted when I posted my picture, do you need anything? Jim can't go anywhere now. So I am deemed quarantined until I'm better, but I don't know if I have COVID-19. I'm worried that I'm going to give it to Jim. So he can't go anywhere either. So for 2 weeks, unless I get sicker, or unless he gets sick, we're not going anywhere. We're not going outside except to walk our dog and go into our yard. So I just want to remind everybody, take this seriously, put down your politics, stop pointing fingers, forget about whether or not you have a Republican or a Democratic president, forget about the fact that you have a Republican or a Democratic governor, mayor, whoever it is that you are watching on the news or that you're dealing with directly. And remember that we're all in this together and everybody has a chance to do their part. I was trying to do that and I believe that I did. I don't know why I got sick. I don't know how I got sick. Even if it's not COVID-19, how do I get sick if I'm not around any other people? I don't know. I don't have the answers to that at all. It's not just a cold, or I wouldn't be taking this and this and this, doing this 3 times a day, which I did right before I went live. And this, the Z-Pack. Well, it's not a Z-Pack. It's the erythromycin and the white tablets, which are different strength. I wouldn't have to take all of that. I don't want anybody else to get sick. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Take some extra measures. Love one another. Stop bashing on. I don't agree with everything my president says, but he's still my president. I can't change that, not now. And I don't want to tick anybody off that is a Trump supporter, but you know what? I watch some of the news. I don't watch it all, but I watch some of the news, not the sensational. I'm talking about watching his news conferences, watching the task force news conferences. I'm not once, other than asking about the president, I would like to see once in a while have somebody say, how is your family doing? How is your family feeling? And not even ask for a response. Mr. President, thank you for everything that you're doing, whether you think he's done enough or not. Mr. President, thank you for everything that you're doing. I'll just say it. I am not a Trump supporter, okay? Sorry, those I'm going to offend by saying that. And I know there'll be a lot of people that'll see this and they'll be upset with me for saying it. When I say I'm not a Trump supporter, I'm not one of those kind of people that says everything he says is gospel. No. But I'm also not 100% a Democrat supporter either. You say, oh, that makes you a liberal or makes you this, that. It doesn't make me that. It makes me an American. I think for myself and I look at the facts and see what I see. I would like for once that somebody step up and say, "Hey, how is your family? I hope you're doing well. No need to answer, Mr. President. Thank you for what you are doing. And let's not dwell on the past. Let's move forward." Once, just once, I would like to see somebody be a little bit more proactive and positive. He's doing the best that he can with what he has. Whether or not he acted fast enough, that will be for history to decide. That will be for the historians and the anthropologists down the road to look at this back in history like they did in 1918. They're going to look at 2020. We won't be alive then. They're going to look at 2020 and they're going to say what was done right and what was done wrong and what did we learn from this. One thing I can tell you that won't help is being negative about it. Stop bashing people for it. If you see groups of kids playing basketball, or I mean, other than in their own yard, if you see people gathering in places they shouldn't be gathering, yeah, maybe suggest something or call your local non-emergency police number and say, "Hey, I'm sitting outside of this place and there's a big block party going on, or there's a bunch of kids that are riding skateboards at the skateboard park, or there's a bunch of boys, even though there's no basketball hoop, they're playing basketball and they're just shooting at the square in the middle of the backboard." Whatever it is, do your part. One person, you could save yourself, but no, it's more than that. One person can affect another person, and that's 10 people. This is my own mantra. 10 people can then turn into 100 people. Do the math, do the multiplication, do the algebra. Those 100 people can then quickly, within just a couple days, become 1,000 and more. Now, I'm not a medical expert, but all you have to do is look at what Dr. Fauci says, and that's the truth. Maintain social distancing, quarantine when you need to, stay at home if you have to, and only go out when you absolutely, positively need to. And if you want something to do and you're into word games and strategy games and craziness, check out Kixeye Games, kixeye.com, KIXEYE.com. My favorite game is War Commander, Kixeye moderator, for those of you who know me in gaming. We have Battle Pirates, which is a strategic game on the water. There's War Commander Rogue Assault, which you can play on one of these, which that's my phone with my pink titanium case. You can play on a mobile. You can also play on an iPad. There is Vega Conflict, which is browser and I believe mobile, but don't quote me on that one. All really great games. You can play on Facebook. You can play on Game Room. You can play on KXL.com. When I say KXL, it's Kixeye.com, but we refer to it as KXL. So get out there, get your gaming consoles out, hook up with some friends, and instead of getting together, have a War Commander friend party. Get yourself a Discord voice stream going. Get yourself a YouTube stream going and get like 10 or 15 people in the room and just go bonker balls. Go get to a sector and go blow it up. Come to my sector. I'm in sector 32, by the way. That's 3, 2. Whoops, 2. See what laughing does to you. Go blow something up. Have some fun. Laugh and joke and chat. Share some of your experiences with other people. And just keep it game related. Obviously, don't go personal. And have some fun. Look me up on Facebook. If we're not already friends, if you want to know about Kixeye Games, whether you like them or you don't like them, you want to know other things. Battle Pirates is almost completely ported to HTML5. War Commander is in the process of being ported to HTML5. The games are getting better than they've ever been before. I never thought I would see this in my lifetime. They said it would never happen in 2012. They said again it would never happen in 2015, and here we are in 2020, and it's happening. I'm so proud of everybody that has been supporting the games as long as they have, and the people who have supported all the people that are trying to support you. So the community people are out there, the moderators are out there, but we are players too. And we want you to succeed and we want you to have fun. When it's no longer fun, then nobody wants to play anymore. I can definitely tell you that one. Nobody wants to play anymore if it's not fun. So again, remember, we're human beings. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do things wrong that we can't take back. So all I can do is say, try to be positive for everybody. Reach out to someone. If you don't like me as a moderator, reach out to a moderator of your choice. If you don't like any of the moderators and you think we suck donkey balls, okay, well, I think you suck donkey balls back. There you go. That's my 2 cents for you. Reach out to a Kixeye team member and say, hey, I think the moderators suck donkey balls. Good luck with that. Just do whatever it is that you need to do to have fun. Stay safe, drink plenty of fluids, eat healthy, make sure you're getting protein at least 3 times a day. Make sure you're getting plenty of vitamin C. Yes, it works, and not just from a pill. Go eat an orange. Eat some apples. Eat some leafy green vegetables. Keep your immune system up and positive so that if when you do get something like this, you have the tools to fight. And remember that we're all in this together. If you have any questions at all, I do see now. I'm sorry, I did not have my live chat open. Um, Gangster, how to clear flash global storage, but can't see any options to remove. Can you please explain it? All right, I'm sorry, I did not even have that open. Gangster, I'll try to get to you, try to find you, and send you the link to on my pinup party method how to clear the flash player global storage settings. But I can't see any options there to remove. Can you help me explain that? Oh, sure. Okay, I think I know how to get a hold of you, and I will try to get a hold of you. I have another video, and I also have the steps on the War Commander Discord on how to clear your flash cache on a regular basis. That's something you're going to want to do if you're going to get hot, heavy battling, by the way, is keep your flash cache cleared. Oh, goodness. True Trust. I'm so sorry I did not have the chat open. I didn't think anybody was going to be online to see this. No one's taking it seriously. They will not stay at home. They're going out every... Yeah. Thanks, True Trust. So sorry you're not watching now. I got it. Or if you are, I really apologize for not having the chat open. Yeah. I'm really disappointed I just say it. I'm really disappointed in your governor. I believe in um, what is the word I want to use without without using a cuss word so I don't get in trouble? Responsibility, but that's not the word I want to use. Each person has a responsibility to themselves and to their families. And just because you don't think you can get sick, you can. Go on YouTube and look at all the people that are on there, the young people that are on there, the 19-year-old that died from COVID-19, okay, did not have an underlying health condition. Go and look at the young lady who's 27 years old that was in the hospital for 16 days and was about 2 days from a ventilator, who's just gone home and recovered. Look at Chris Cuomo, who is one of the most healthiest people I've ever seen, and watch his show, I don't say religiously, but 2 or 3 times what I've seen on Stephen Colbert's show. He exercises, he works out, he goes to the gym, he's very physically fit, he doesn't have any underlying health conditions, and he got COVID-19. How did he get it? We don't know. He doesn't know if he's infected his family. He's upset about that. He is self-quarantining in his basement and doing his shows from his basement. That's my governor's little brother, as they call him the meatball. Look at some of the kids that were down in spring break and they ended up testing positive for COVID. Okay, so well, they didn't get sick, Skip. Well, they didn't get sick, yeah, but how many people did they come in contact? How many people, when they went down there and they got sick and then they came back? Because Governor Santos just issued the stay-at-home order just now. New York is the hot spot now, but what happens later? Texas could be next. I mean, Michigan could be next. She did shut down. She did shut down early. The governor there did shut down early, but they're still seeing cases going up. Washington State shut everything down. Their cases are still there, but they don't have this. They don't have that big curve. They've got this. California started shutting down. They still have some hotspot things going on, but they shut a lot of things down. Texas still hasn't. Not as far as I know. At least not as far as I know as of last night. Finally, some of the other ones did. Georgia did. Some of the other... Stop. Look. You don't have to go to church to talk to God. You don't have to go to church to worship God. And most churches already have some kind of either live streaming going on or video streaming going on. They have music that they're playing. They have scriptures that they're sharing. Stop going to church and stop hugging one another. One of the churches, the one man that was on YouTube several weeks ago, God bless his soul, I hope he's still awake. I mean, I hope he's still alive because I haven't seen anything from him. But he was in the hospital, was absolutely horrifically sick, and he went to church and was singing in the choir, and then said that as far as he knew, that there was about 15 other people in his church that were infected, and 6 or 7 of them were in the hospital that he was in, but he couldn't see any of them because they were all in isolation. But he just knew because his wife, who was not sick, told him that they were in the hospital too. Stay home. Just stay home. If you don't need to go anywhere, then stay home. If you have to go to work, take the precautions. Eat right, wash your hands, take soap with you. If your work isn't providing you soap, I've seen some of you people on Facebook telling me that you have to go to work and there's not providing soap or you're out of hand sanitizer. If you're out of hand sanitizer, take a bar of soap with you to work and wash your hands. And if you get in trouble at work because you have to get up to go wash your hands, you pick up the phone and you call your mayor. You call the CDC. You call whoever you have to call and say, I'm trying to do my job because that's what they're making me do, but I can't wash my hands. I can't keep myself clean. I have to interact with people with money. I have to interact with people with cards. I don't have hand sanitizer. I don't have the push, pump things to clean myself. I don't have hand wipes to clean myself. If you don't have the necessary supplies that you need in order to do your job, and you're coming in contact with people on a regular basis, then you need to contact somebody. Contact your New York Attorney General, I'm sorry, your Attorney General's office. Contact the local health services in your state. Contact your congresswoman or your congressman. Contact somebody and tell them, I have to go to work, but my employer will not supply me basic needs. I'm not talking about a mask. I'm talking about things to keep yourself clean. So when you do have to transact money, or you do have to handle a credit card, or you have to hand somebody a pen and then they hand the pen back, contact them. If you don't have the basic supplies, then if you feel uncomfortable, that's unsafe. It's not natural. Do you remember when everybody freaked out about HIV and you have to be conscientious, and if you are HIV positive, please make sure you do this and this so you don't spread it to other people. And you're saying, "Oh, why the heck would you bring up HIV, Skip?" Or those of you who know me as Jan, why would you bring that up? Well, because it's still out there and they have a therapy, which is basically a treatment for it, and they have medication for it. They don't have any medication for COVID. There is no cure for COVID. There's no vaccine for COVID. There's no vaccine for HIV yet. I hope it's coming. But do you remember how when people didn't practice safe practices, then when people got caught spreading it on purpose, or I'll just say we're having unprotected sexual relations, and then other people got sick? Do you remember what happened with those people? First of all, other people got sick. Let's keep the eye on the prize here, people. Other people got sick. But in addition, those people who deliberately gave people that horrible disease, those people, some of them were jailed, some of them were charged, some of them were charged legally. I mean, can you imagine? Can you even imagine right now? For those of you who think, oh, I'm young and I can't get this, I'm going to go party and have fun with my friends. I'm going to go shoot pool. I'm going to go hang out. I'm going to go to my friend's house. We're going to get 15 or 20 people and we're going to have a kegger and we're going to have a party. Stop doing that. Stop it. Because then you're all going to go home. Who are you going to give it to? What if somebody else was around their grandmother or their mother or their father who's a police officer, or their mother who's an ambulance worker, or one of their relatives is a police officer, or I don't know, anything, somebody that has to be on the front lines and they got it from their parents or they got it from their brother or sister or whatever kind of household arrangement that you have. And then you go party with your friends and you give it to somebody else. And guess what? It starts all over again. Remember that thing I said, 1 and then 10 and then 100? Be responsible. If you have the flu, if you have any kind of a viral thing, any kind of a COVID virus, if you have anything, you should not be around other people right now. You're going to make other people sick. And the last thing you want to do, even if it is, and I'm going to say this lightly, just the flu, and they do end up in respiratory arrest, and they do have to go to a hospital because they're so sick, you're going to put them in the hospital. First of all, you're going to strain the hospital system. You're going to strain the PPE equipment because everybody has to wear PPE equipment now, whether you just have the flu or not, whether you broke your ankle or not, whether or not you were in a car accident or not. Everybody has to wear the personal protective gear because because there's because nobody knows who has COVID and who doesn't until they get tested. Stop doing what you're doing. And you think that you're not going to get it. You could. You think you could get the flu and give it to somebody. Stop doing it. Why are you doing it? Because I know people are. I see it in my own city, in my own town. I'm thinking, why are all these people outside gathering in all these places? Because they're not supposed to be. I don't understand it. We drove past the playground today, even though the playgrounds are closed. I mean, to walk up to it, we're not putting fences around our playgrounds like they're doing in this city of New York. But does it have to come to that? Why should it come to that? I can't believe that Governor Cuomo had to do that. I can't believe that he has to waste money and resources. Sorry, I'm getting fired up and I shouldn't be. Resources to put up to tell Mayor de Blasio to put up fencing, to put up crime tape, to put up fences and wraps around playgrounds when the governor and the mayor tells you stay home and stay off the playgrounds, then do what they say. Oh, well, we need the president to issue a federal government mandate. Why? Are you stupid? Really? Honestly, are you stupid? I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. If somebody gives you a guideline and says this is what you should do, and Dr. Fauci and all those doctors line up in front of the podium, not just when they're sitting there with our president, but they go on podcasts and YouTubes. They do all of those things, and they go out there and they give you the statistics and they give you all the information. And you have the information. You have all the information, and you do it anyway. That's stupid. And then you want to point the finger at your governor, at your mayor, at the president. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, because I'm not a Republican. You want to point the finger. Well, you didn't listen. Somebody didn't listen, or we wouldn't be in this position that we're in. We're going to learn from it, and hopefully everybody will start listening and not go down the wrong way. For the states that aren't listening, True Trust, please feel free to reach out to me via PM. I'm here for you if you need it. I mean, I got to tell you, I mean, where you work and what you do, I mean, obviously you're in the chat, but I want to reveal it without saying anything. What you do, from my heart, thank you. You have to be out there. You have to do what you have to do. Just be safe. Anybody that has to be out there to do what they have to do, be safe. I'll just say Jennifer, for reaching out to me, and I know many Jennifers, but she'll know who she is, for telling me about don't lay down in bed, get up and walk around, get moving. Maybe I did make this worse by trying to get more rest and stay in bed until noon. I wasn't sleeping. I slept until about 10. Of course, I didn't go to sleep until about 2 because I couldn't stop coughing. Finally got some Delsum, and I guess I knocked myself out for cough medicine, but got some sleep, and laying in bed probably was not a really good thing to do. So I'm sitting up more, I'm staying up more, getting up and down more. Walking is good. And yeah, I cough, and yeah, there's stuff that comes out. But I feel better just having all this medication in my system. It just feels better knowing that we're doing something to get rid of whatever this is in here. I mean, come on now, let's go. It's like, the girls are, wait, hold on. Boop. All right, that was TMI. I don't care. That's a big chest. When I get a chest cold, it's a big chest. Ha, ha, ha. So see, I didn't cuss. At least I don't think I did. Yes, I've been live for an hour, and I think I'm going to end everything now. If you have any questions, thank you for your love and your kindness and your support. If you don't see me online, it's just because I need to take some time for myself and get well and get better. If you do see me online, it's probably just because I'm trying to keep my mind occupied, and I want to help as many people as I can that are home that need help with whatever. If you're having problems with teleworking and you don't understand some things, call me. My husband's teleworking. If you have questions about your computers and you're not really getting the gist of it and you don't know what to do, message me on Facebook and I'll walk you through it. I'll get you in a hangout, or we can do, if you want, we can do a team view, and I can help get into your computer. When I say get into your computer, I can help you go through the steps, keep your computer clean, keep it refreshed. If you need help with your modem, if you need help with your router, if you need help with boosting your computer, if you need a cleaner, if your computer continually locks up, if you need to learn how to run a trace route so you can get better speeds, any of those things that you need, PM me, grab me on Discord, which we call a DM, grab me on Facebook, which you guys know how to reach me on Facebook. Do whatever you need to do. Or if you don't want to reach out to me, Dark Shadows is very technologically savvy. Reach out to Dark Shadows, aka David, for those of you who call him David. Reach out to David if you need to. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, well, we're talking about gaming, but we're also talking about those who are stuck at home, may also be working and gaming, and they've never had to work from home before, and they don't know what to do. And we have helped a few people with that along the way. Stay safe, everybody. Be well, everybody. Continue to communicate with your family the best way that you can, and try not to gather in large groups. Do some Google Hangouts, some Skype, FaceTime, if you have the FaceTime app on your phone or your iPad, your Android phone, any of those kind of things that you can get together. There's a lot of other apps out there that you can use on your phone. You can leave messages for one another. I'm communicating with my daughter, my granddaughter, Samantha, Aaliyah, I love you. Also with my son, my daughter-in-law, and my 3 grandchildren in another part of Maryland, communicating with them over the phone. And we have a group message. So I'm doing my part. You guys do your part, and there's no need to update unless I get worse. But I want to remind everybody that to please be kind to one another, even if you don't agree. Go to the book of Isaiah. If you do ever read the Bible, go to the book of Isaiah and look up the passage about being kind to one another, even if you don't agree, because it really does matter whether or not we're sending negative energy out to the world or we're sending positive energy out to the world. Whatever it is that you believe in. If you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in what people call mumbo jumbo, okay. But if you send negativity out, you're going to get negativity back, or you're just going to wallow in it with the other negative people. Be positive. If you need help, ask for it. If you're scared and afraid like I was earlier today, but I got over it, relaxed myself, calmed myself, and thought, well, there is no cure. There is no magic bullet. There is no shot. I've got a whole bunch of meds to take. Let's see where I go. So I didn't get tested. I didn't really think I needed to get tested right away. I just wanted to know. I did not know there was no testing even close by. I didn't know I needed a doctor's note to get tested, because that's not what they're telling you on TV. So again, you want to tell me that, oh, she's a Trump supporter. Now I'm a little frustrated by seeing the TV. Oh, there's plenty of tests. There's plenty of tests. Oh, there's lots and lots of tests. Anybody can get a test. I couldn't get a test today. I couldn't get a test yesterday. I won't get a test today either, or the next day. There are no tests for me to get unless I get worse. And the thought of me getting worse than this, the last time I had bronchial pneumonia was 12 years ago. The last time I felt this sick, this heavy, I've never smoked. The last time I felt this sick with this kind of heaviness in my chest, I've never had to take this much medication before for one situation in my entire life. That doesn't include the Tylenol and all the other stuff I have to take that's over the counter. I've never had, honestly, I guess if I was in the hospital, they might have been giving me that stuff and I didn't know it, but I'm just saying I've never had that much medication for being sick that I can remember. And the last time I was that sick, I did end up in the hospital because I was so sick. I went to the doctor and they told me that I probably had a cold. They tested me for a flu, and that came back negative, and strep throat, and that came back negative. And within 3 days, I couldn't breathe, and I went to the emergency room, and they admitted me, and I was there for 2.5 weeks. And I had to do maybe I did have to do this. They gave me some kind of breathing treatment, all kinds of medications, but believe me, that was like that was back then. That was like a $20,000 hospital bill just for the doctors and the medications. That doesn't include the hospital stay. I had a really big medical bill that took me several years to pay off. That was even with my insurance. That took me several years to pay off. That I had to get off my credit, but I did finally pay it off. Trust me, you don't want to get in that situation. So stay home, do your part, save not only your life, but the life of you, 10, 100, and exponentially thousands. Stay home, stay safe, and be well, everyone. God bless you. God bless those who support, and thank you so much for everything that you do. Love you guys very much. Bye.